Happy New Year! Now, a new year means a new resolution. That's normally what most of us are thinking about. We want to start building our new habits, getting our goals set for the new year, and I'm no different. I like to think of something I would like to achieve over the year. And 3 years ago in 2020, I set the new resolution of learning British Sign Language. Now, this was the year that I actually learned how to create a goal and stick at it every single week. For the entire year of 2020, I didn't miss a single week of learning sign language. So I thought, as many of you out there might be looking to set your own resolutions, I would explain to you how I actually managed to stick at that habit for an entire year. I have 3 key tips that helped me stick at that habit, and I also have an extra tip, something I think I might have realized this year as well. So 3 tips and a bonus 4th. So the first tip is to redefine your goal as an activity that you genuinely think you can enjoy. So often when we set a goal, it will be, I need to work out more, I should learn a new language, I should eat healthier. They're quite broad, abstract chores, basically. It's I have to do this chore, otherwise I'm not going to succeed. That is the problem because it makes us feel like we have to do it rather than we want to do it. It's a must, it's a need, it's not a desire. But there's a very easy way of changing this. So to give you an example, if your goal is to eat healthier, that's going to be very hard on a Tuesday night when you come home from work. But what if, instead of your goal being, I want to eat healthier, it is, I want to learn to cook via this cooking class. I want to go camping more once a month, once a fortnight. If you can turn that goal into an activity that you want to repeat weekly or monthly or however often, that will build in this kind of enjoyment factor, or that sense of, actually I do want to buy the better tomatoes, the organic tomatoes. I do want to buy the courgettes rather than the chips, because you're thinking about the experience. The reason that I picked sign language as the language to learn 3 years ago was that it is practical, it involves your hands, and I really enjoy being practical. That's why I'm a filmmaker. So for me, this was the perfect language. Rather than sitting there looking at books, I could actually engage using my own body movement. That in itself was an activity, but I also have the goal to go and make films in sign language and work with crews and cast that are deaf. For me, the thing I want to improve, the habit that I want to build, it actually facilitates the thing I want to enjoy, which is the filmmaking and the collaboration. That's which is really helpful for allowing you to do something that you enjoy whilst incorporating this new goal as a habit in that activity. On a quick note, another resolution habit I'm trying to build. I know everyone has a newsletter, but I actually really enjoy writing, and it's good for me to build the habit of writing. So if you want to subscribe, I will leave a link below, and that will be a weekly newsletter on Monday, and it will feature maybe some of the things that I'm talking about in here, maybe not, more about just general learnings of the things I experience in life. So there will be some crossover, but not necessarily always. The second step, and this is one I see a lot of people get wrong, this is a mistake that I made for years, it's to forget financial accountability and instead focus on your calendar and people accountability. It is so easy to sign up to an online program or a training app that costs so much money every month, and you think, well, I'm paying £50 a month, so I'm gonna do it. That doesn't happen. Whether it is £70 or £1,000, we can justify to ourselves that it's a bad investment, that it's the money's fault, it's not our fault. Whereas, if we instead are accountable to a calendar and a person, that responsibility falls much more on us. So when I started learning sign language, I went to a weekly evening class. I actually made this choice because I wanted to protect my time as a freelancer. So often, my calendar was getting controlled by my clients, not necessarily because they were making it that way, but because I felt that's the way it should be. And I would say yes to fitting in with their schedules rather than protecting my own time. At the start of 2020, I said, do you know what? I'm going to make sure every Tuesday evening is dedicated to my personal development. And that meant when a job came up that needed me to be in Manchester on the Tuesday or the Wednesday, I would say, I'm really sorry, but either I can't do those dates or I can't do the project. And 9 times out of 10, they were happy to move the project. Oh yeah, okay, we'll do it on the Friday. Brilliant. That was huge for me. And then when COVID did hit and lock everything down, my sign language lessons ended. So I then could have bailed. I could have just stopped. But instead, I went and found a online tutor and set up the same system where every Tuesday I would make sure that I was there on that Zoom call, ready to have that lesson. That calendar and personal responsibility is huge. It's so much harder to bail when we know there's someone waiting for us or there is a place waiting for us to appear. And whilst I'm at that, I think it's quite important to recognize there are moments where you should prioritize your own personal goals ahead of work client goals. If someone was to say to you, I'm really sorry I can't do that project on Tuesdays because I want to spend that time with my kids, I'm trying to be a better dad. That is my one day of the week I have no flexibility on between these hours. Those hours are blocked off for my personal development. I think if someone said that to me, I would really admire that person. I wouldn't think poorly of them. So why do we always assume people think poorly of us for saying the same thing? So don't be afraid to block off and protect that time for you, for your personal development. And the third step is to find a mentor or coach that you want to spend time with. When I met my Zoom teacher for my sign language classes, I actually got on so well with her, and we would often spend half an hour talking in sign language about film, books, culture, before we actually began the lesson. If you're trying to build a habit, but the person on the other end of that habit you don't really want to spend time with, it's another reason to fall short. So it's critical to recognize when that person that you are trying to build a habit with is not right for you. As quickly as you can, you want to get rid of them in the nicest way as you can and find someone that you do want to build that habit with and reach that goal with. If you want to spend time with that person in that environment, you are infinitely more likely to turn up. And the fourth bonus tip is something that I'm not 100% sure if this is going to work, but so far it feels like maybe it will. I actually started my New Year resolution this year back at the end of November, start of December. There's two benefits to this. The first is that now I already feel like I'm in that headspace, I'm in that routine to some degree. And also, when Christmas hit, it gives you a reason to stop. In life, there's always going to be reasons for you to miss your habit or to, not go to the gym or to have that lazy meal. I went to the theatre 2 nights ago to watch As You Like It, which featured Rose Ayling-Ellis, and it was amazing. But it finished late and we were really hungry. There was nowhere to eat where we were. We ended up getting a McDonald's and I hated it. I absolutely hated it, but that is what it is. I'm trying to become a lot more aware of what I'm eating in terms of quantity. I want to eat more calories of the right food. Now, if that habit starts day 1, January the 1st, the moment we hit that first obstacle, that first stumbling block, we feel like we have already failed ourselves. Whereas, starting in November, December, knowing Christmas was coming, there's gonna be that kind of week where that's gonna go down the pan a little bit. And knowing that meant that coming out the other side, I had to get back into the routine, which was great. And then now I have that mindset of, okay, well, yeah, I had McDonald's 2 days ago. Let's get back into the routine. Let's build up that habit again. So to sum it up, if you want to achieve your New Year's resolution goals this year, the 3 things you need to do is change your mindset of thinking of it as a must-do chore into an activity where that thing you want to improve, let's say it's eating healthy, feeds into the activity, let's say cooking classes or going camping. The second thing you need to do is be accountable to a calendar and a person, not your wallet. There's no point thinking by spending £200 a month you're going to do that habit. The better way to stick to resolution is have a time and a place and a person that you have to show up to every week. And the final tip is to find a mentor or coach that you actually want to spend time with. The more you like them, the more likely you are to stick at that habit. Until next time, see you soon.